about a shirtless man.
Emma, new sign slogan?
I have a brilliant idea.
Oh,
I actually
Lord.
have 2 brilliant ideas.
Let's hear it.
Alright. Give thanks to your ride with a custom paint job. You don't like it?
That's for...
Thanksgiving?
Okay.
It's November.
Something else. You got anything better?
Don't be a turkey. Get your ride looking perky.
Oh, God, Emma. Go back to work. Come up with
I
something.
thought they were good.
I don't pay you to think, honey. Just take care of business for Dad.
Trying.
I thought it was good.
Perky.
Come on, this ain't Dr. Seuss here. We build people's cars.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true.
I tell you what, see if you can help her with this. I don't want Dr. Seuss stuff on my sign, all right?
How about just give thanks this month?
Listen, I tell you what. Yeah, do Thanksgiving, not about the cars.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Good. God. I appreciate you guys tuning in this month, and you know it's an exciting month for us because we just finished a year's worth of episodes. Today's episode is going to be an hour long. We're going to bring you some extra stuff. We're going to visit some vehicles that you have seen, some vehicles you've never seen. We're going to take a look at a classic car, and believe it or not, I redid the Beast. In the course of about 4 days, we jumped on it and got it done. And we're building a rat rod, and that's a vehicle we've never talked about. Well, with the rat rod being said, I'll explain that to you when we take a look at this truck. But there's also another kind of vehicle out there called a rat bike, and that's this here. The motorcycle we're working on, Chuck has got the motor and the chassis. He's getting it running to perfection. We assembled it here. It was a basket case. It was in 1,000,000 pieces. We assembled it here. We handed it off to Chuck so he can get it running right. We kept the tank and the fender back. Talking to my customer, and I try to get to know my customers. I try to get inside their head, if you want to know the truth, find out what they really are looking for. And she wants a rat bike. She said, I want this bike to be personalized, and I want it to stay ratty looking. I want it to stay rough, but I want it to run perfect. She had this idea, if you remember when she came to us, that she likes rust. Well, when it comes to painting things and making them look nice, rust is not what you want. But we was able to achieve that in this tank. What we did was we stripped the tank down to bare metal. It took quite a bit of work to get multiple layers of paint off. It had been painted with a spray can, different things, all the way down to the factory paint. She doesn't want any dents or dings fixed, so you can still see some of the dents and dings. And we prematurely rusted a set of flames on the tank for her. We did that with some chemicals. We taped it up, laid it out, rusted the flames. Then we had Chasten come back and pinstripe around the flames. After this was said and done and the rust had kind of settled in, I clear coated it with a satin clear. Gave it that old ratty look. I had Chuck burn us in a new gas cap. Just I have an old pipe cap, and
It's cool but tough.
it's cool, but cool and tough. That's right. I was asked that by Chuck of all people. Why didn't you just paint it a rusty color? It's not rust, my friend. She wanted rust, so that's what she got, was real rust. Yeah, I could have blended some paint together. I could have slapped it on there, but taking the time to give the customer exactly what they expect, that's where I hold my head high. So I painted it with rust. I don't know if that's ever been done before, but we did it. You know, we did it for this, so it's pretty cool. She's seen it; it just knocked her socks off. She thought it was great. So maybe next week or so we'll have that bike done. Maybe we'll hold it back for the next episode so you can see the completed bike. It should be brand new, operate perfectly, just to look like it fell off a garbage truck, you know. But it is what it is. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and to me, that's a piece of art, man. I can't tell you the hours I've got in that tank to make it look that way. I probably averaged 10 cents an hour by the time I was done. But, you know, it is what it is. It's a passion for her. That's the way she wants it. It's a passion for me to make it the way they want it. I think we'll go to the back, take a look at a rat rod truck we're in the middle of building. Logan has been doing some serious fabricating on it. And take a look at the Corvette. We're going to go for a ride in the Corvette. I've got it down on the ground, got new tires on it, and it runs like a top. I can't wait to go test drive that car. And we'll take a look at the Beast. We redid the Beast for the Christmas season. There's a bunch of car shows that happen during the Christmas season, Toys for Tots, things like that. We're going to try to hit a bunch of those this year.
Sounds good.
So we'll go take a look out back, and maybe you guys will be amazed at what we got going on.
Somewhere in Henry County, there's a place where I can get my hair done, with style and grace. My dear, you don't have to dream any longer, because there is such a place. There is? Why, of course.
Well, hello, and welcome to Damon's. Follow me.
You see, my dear, you've always had the power of perfect hair. There's no place like Damon's.
Hey, look, it's Fancy That Jewelry. Let's go in and see what they have.
Oh, come on, not another jewelry store. I'll just wait outside.
Oh, come on, it'll just take a second.
I'll just stay out here and watch the wet paint dry.
Oh, come on, we'll go in and come right back out.
Oh.
What do you think of this one, honey?
Fancy That Jewelry in Stockbridge. It's like a party you'll never want to leave.
Honey, you ready to go? Honey?
Did you know that in 2002 I perfected the Gordo's cheese dip recipe? And then we offered it to the good people of Stockbridge in 2003. That creamy, smooth, and luscious cheese flavor made with real cheese and wholesome ingredients has become a favorite. And now we're sharing it with folks across the country. And there's so many different ways Gordo's can add a flavorful twist to most any meal, like Philly steak and cheese, the easy cheesy biscuits, Gordo's burrito, and of course our delicious stovetop mac and cheese, and so much more. But do you know the real reason why Gordo's cheese dip is so popular?
Because it tastes good.
Because it tastes good.
It's the restaurant where everyone enjoys their meal. It's an amazing day of shopping where you and your favorite girlfriend find just what you wanted.
It's experiencing new cuisine in your own backyard. Or legendary barbecue on a back porch.
It's meeting friends after work to catch up and enjoy a little more than just good company.
It's Henry County, comfortably south of Atlanta.
Our relationship with Heritage Bank and the people goes back some time. We have to have flexibility and support from our bank, and that's what we have.
The situation with Heritage is they are so uniquely different than all the other banks. They're probably the premier community bank there is anywhere in the country.
It doesn't matter what time of day you go into the bank, Heritage Bank, the people are just wonderful.
I opened a business account with Heritage Bank, and it's just been a great relationship. The bankers are just friendly, and it takes a partnership, and with that partnership my business accounts have grown, and I hope they continue to grow with Heritage.
Come on.
Go.
Hey. I guess interaction with the dog may not be that good. We've not had the opportunity in the past to bring you a rat rod. A rat rod's a whole different kind of vehicle. It looks ratty, doesn't it? Well, it's supposed to. It's supposed to look like it's never been fixed. It's supposed to look like pieces and parts of another vehicle. Now this one is. The Studebaker truck, it was a rat rod, and it was built by somebody that was obviously a novice. My customer bought the truck. They made a wise purchase. They bought the truck very economically. You guys remember that word, economically. She brought it to us and said, I need it safe, sound, and secure. I want it safe. Believe it or not, it's the Army sergeant, the lady we built the Big Bel Air for. She wants it right, but she wants it to look ratty. So a lot of the young guys are building rat rods today, and when they're done building them, they've used a menagerie of parts, and they're just not safe. They're just not safe to be on the road. Now, as a shop owner, what I build has to be safe. It can look like a rat rod and it can look ratty, but it's got to be safe and it's got to function properly. Now, I've got Logan fabricating some special parts for the truck. What he's working on, he's been hand building the brakes for this truck. Now, when it comes to a 1950 Studebaker, you can't go out to the store and buy something to just fit. So recently, Logan is fabricating a new brake pedal for the truck. We're setting it up. We're building the brake pedal, building the accelerator pedal, setting the seats up to actually fit her on a personal level. It's going to fit her and nobody else. That's her truck. And it should fit her. She should be comfortable in it. Now, a rat rod shows a lot of personality, more so than a hot rod. A hot rod's built to go fast from A to B in a straight line, like my truck, the Beast. But a rat rod is nothing but an expression of personality. It's pretty cool stuff. Young man like Logan to be able to hand build something like that. Of course, he's got a little bit of guidance, don't you? Yeah, but it's looking really good, man. You're going to put a gusset on this side too, right? Finish welding all this up. And there's some nice looking tools you got there.
Yeah, thanks to you.
That's good quality stuff. Let's go back and take a look deeper into the truck. Now, a rat rod is designed to look ugly, to be ratty. It's meant to look like you just drug it out of the swamp or the woods or whatever. But underneath, the vehicle should be modern and should be very drivable. Now, this 50 Studebaker, it was purchased as a running and driving truck. It just wasn't safe. It had a lot of electrical problems, a lot of drivability issues. And in the course of 2 weeks, we've got 2 weeks to start this truck and get it done. We're into it about 3 days at this point. We've got to go through all the wiring. It does have a modern V8 Chevy small block, and it does have power brakes. The problem is whoever assembled this truck kind of shade treated it, kind of put it together in very loose. The radiator wasn't attached. There were just issues. The wiring scared me as if the truck may even burn down. Now, what we found out is when we got the truck in, the battery was just sitting in the bed of the truck, and so was the gas tank. And nothing was bolted down right, so we've moved the battery under the hood. We've got a fuel cell coming for the truck. What we found was when we got the truck, upon inspection, somebody had welded and halfway welded the brake rod and the brake pedals together. It just wasn't safe. The steering column was off center, and it just was not a good fit. So we're basically redesigning the whole truck, but with the intentions of leaving it rough looking. Now, my goal is to have this truck on the interstate, to be able to run the interstate with this truck. My goal is that it stops, drives, and runs just as good as any modern vehicle, and I think we'll achieve that, especially with some of Logan's hard work. Let's take a look at the inside. When the truck came in, somebody had hand-built a transmission tunnel out of street signs, which is cool. It's cool to repurpose things, and we like to repurpose stuff when we build a rat rod. The gas pedal was way off center, the brake pedal was way off center. So we're moving all that and realigning all that. We've got the gas pedal done. Logan's got the transmission tunnel done. The cool thing about a rat rod is personality. So interviewing her and talking to her on what she wants this truck to be and represent, well, she loves Rosie the Riveter. She's hardcore American. She loves skulls, much like myself. She likes the heritage of things. So what we're going to do is take these 10 signs and we're going to build door panels out of them for the truck. Going to fashion all this in a way that the door is quiet, the door is safe, so all this is not exposed. You hit the brakes, you don't get hurt. She's got some other cool items in here. An antique danger, do not start motor sign. Now that looks like it should be on this truck. Also, in building this truck, you'll notice the inside is very rough. Now, it came to us like this. We went out and purchased some sound deadening mat and some floor mats for the truck, and we're going to hand fit all that in. That's what's in these boxes, is a sound deadening mat. Basically, what that's going to do is get the heat from the motor out of the truck. It's going to make the truck quieter. Because of all things, the person that owns this truck has asked me to put a stereo in it. Now, this is going to probably be the first rat rod with a stereo, but she loves her music and she wants a stereo in it, so we're going to do that. We also found some rubber floor mat that's kind of diamond tread pattern. So what we'll do is we'll cut this and fit it in the truck like most cars have carpets or rubber floor mats. We're going to put this in there as a diamond mat to it. Late last night we were sitting in the same office talking to her, and we're trying to figure out what we want the inside of the bed to look like. Right now it's just open. You can see the ground. I told her, I said, well, you got to start somewhere. Let's put a sheet of plywood in it. I can age the plywood, make it look old. We've ordered a tailgate. It should be in the next day or so. I can't remember where it's coming from, but it was bought off of eBay. You know what she said to me? She says, how about tin? How about old barn tin, old rusty barn tin? So if I can find some old rusty barn tin, what we're going to do is I'm going to lay down a sheet of plywood. I'm going to cover it with rusty barn tin. Then I'm going to clear coat that. So to give it that feel and that effect, she actually said, make it look like Uncle Fester just threw some tin in there and nailed it down. We still got tires and wheels to do and get through the electrical problems, but all in all, this truck should look rough when we're done. But underneath that rough exterior, should be a fantastic vehicle, driving, stopping. It should be perfectly safe. The rat rod, it's a craze right now, and I thought it would have been dead years ago, and it's not. It's still going strong. And the reason is this, is you can build a rat rod on a very limited budget. Reuse parts and repurpose parts. Reuse parts off of anything that'll work. Her clutch, her brake pedal is actually, we're building that out of a clutch pedal off of a 42 Fleetline. So we're repurposing things. I recently found a tire cover for a 36 Ford. I'm actually going to use that tire cover to build the radiator brackets for that truck. So we're repurposing. There's some craftsmanship in it, and what you've seen Logan doing, hand building the brake pedal to fit the exact dimensions. Last night she sat in the truck and I took a bunch of measurements. Had her move her feet, what's comfortable, where things are fit. So that's a rat rod. A serious amount of personality in an old, rough shell. So that's it. The rat bike is similar, old and rough looking, but operates and functions perfectly. You can go to the showroom, you can buy a car that is designed to fit the masses. Or we can build you one that's designed to fit you. And that's what we're doing. When we're done with that truck, we have a budget. When we're done, that truck should easily exceed what we've got in it value-wise. And that's my goal, to educate my customers, to not get upside down in these cars, to build an automobile on a budget, something you can afford and enjoy, and it shows a bit of personality. All in all, I think it's a great idea. Hey, my truck shows my personality. It's a little rough around the edges. So what do you guys think? Would you be in a rat rod? I know I like it. I think the rougher, but you guys know I'm a little rough cut, but the rougher it is, the cooler it is to me. Well, let's go out and take a look at my truck. We've redone it. We're going to take a look at that classic Corvette from last month. We've got it done. It's running and driving, and I'm going to explain to you why we're not going to paint that car. Let's go take a look.
Your smile is important to us. Here at the Cosmetic and Restorative Practice of Dr. Linda King, we specialize in personalized custom care to help you achieve a beautiful, healthy smile with the most gentle methods. We customize a treatment plan especially for you, and from your first phone call, we want to create a relationship of trust and confidence in our staff and our techniques.
So call today to be on your way to a beautiful new smile.
Moy's Health Mart Pharmacy has been an important part of our community for over 30 years. Why not bring your prescriptions to a locally owned and operated pharmacy where we take pride in providing true customer service? Our pharmacists provide a unique combination of clinical expertise and personal attention. With 6 locations in Henry County, there has to be a Moy's Pharmacy near you.
Our store brand Health Mart products are held to the same high FDA standards as the name brands, but can cost up to 40% less.
Moy's Health Mart Pharmacy, caring for you and about you.
Hello, I'm Steve Nail, President of Nail Heating and Air Conditioning. Comfort and peace of mind. With Nail Heating and Air Conditioning, you get certified drug-free workers, a lifetime warranty on your installations, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. We can design the perfect indoor comfort environment for you. Clean air, humidity control, lower bills. You can't lose. Call today for your free in-home estimate. Simple, worry-free comfort from someone you trust. Nail Heating and Air Conditioning.
We want to welcome you to the House of the Redeemed. We want to welcome you to Biker Church tonight.
We have full-blown praise and worship for the kids, games, and all kind of lessons so that they can learn about Jesus.
And tonight I just want to let you know, in this house, you're loved and accepted and received just like you are.
If I can say one thing about Biker Church is that this is a safe, fun place for young people where they can learn how to live a radical life for Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now that doesn't mean that iron doesn't sharpen iron. Our job is to challenge one another and to grow in one another the things of the Lord. That's the reason all our services, you'll always see that we sit down and break bread together. We have a meal together. We get to know one another so that we earn the right to speak into each other's life. It's not just given to us, we earn it. Amen? Amen. Welcome.
Every spring, in thousands of attics, garages, and basements throughout the country, thousands of young Americans set to work building their entries for the All-American Soapbox Derby. The All-American is the greatest amateur sporting event in the world because it combines both the ingenuity and creative spirit of young America with the natural racing and sporting instincts of boys of all ages.
You know, in my world, I try to get my kids started as soon as possible. In the automotive culture, in the car thing. When my kids were little, I built them a Soapbox Derby car. And we entered this into some competition, and it's so funny. I had this in the rafters for the last 15 years. I just recently brought it out and dusted it off, and now my granddaughter gets it in and plays. So I try to get them involved as early as possible. When you think about as early as possible, everybody and their brother goes to a catalog or goes to a website to buy parts for their cars. I think it's great. Aftermarket speed parts. You can get tires and wheels, cold air kits. You know, there's just anything on your car you can accessorize or change. But do you ever wonder where that started? I recently found out. A friend of mine passed away. He was, I don't know, mid-70s. And when he always told me about a shifter knob that he got from his dad. His dad bought a new A-model car, and the first thing he did was got in a catalog and ordered an aftermarket shift knob. Now this shift knob is made out of glass and it's really cool. He passed away, and he gave instructions to his wife. He said, when I pass away, make sure James gets my shift knob. So, a little bit of history, and it's really cool because on this shift knob there is little indentions where he obviously wore a ring and shifted his car, and he just made little chips just in one spot where just over the years it sat on that same spot in the same car. But that's really cool. That's where the aftermarket accessory stuff started, was you could buy a shift knob. Ain't that just cool stuff? My truck, the Beast, everybody expects my thing, my vehicles to be just slightly different than everybody else's. They expect my vehicles to be right because I own a shop. I put my truck through the paces. I'm not scared to drive it. I'm not afraid to show off in that truck. I don't have a problem burning up the interstates with it, okay? But in doing so, the truck takes abuse. You know, I had busted every fender on the truck. I recently shattered the rear end. About 2 months ago, I was showing off my truck and I blew the rear end up doing a burnout. So I had to put a new rear end in the truck. What a better time than just redo the whole truck, right? So I took 3 days and tore the whole truck apart. I repainted it. But every time I redo my truck, I try to do something slightly different. You know, 4 years ago, that truck was painted flat black. 2 years ago, it was semi-gloss. That was most recent. And now this time it's satin. To the average person driving by the interstate, that's the same truck. But if you see it at a car show, and if you know the truck, and if you follow the TV show, and we go to a car show, man, we see 50 or 60 people come up and say, hey man, good to see you again. They will realize my truck's been redone. The amazing thing is this. I don't go out to try to win trophies with my truck, except at the drag strip. But when I go to car shows, I like to cruise in the car show, and I like to visit with people. I cruised into a car show last Monday night. I had pulled the truck out of the booth Monday at noon from painting it. Went to a car show Monday night. I'm visiting with people. I just parked my truck. I'm visiting with people, and lo and behold, I hear my name over the loudspeaker. I won a trophy. Yeah, I didn't mean to, it just happened. I also, every time I redo this truck, I do something slightly different. You know, this is kind of like my McDonald's arches for my shop. People see this truck and they know what shop it came from. I've had it long enough now that it sits out front and people just identify me with this truck, with this shop. But each time I redo it slightly different. The paint job this time is actually satin. Last time it was semi-gloss. This time when I had Chasten do the pinstriping, I gave him free rein. The only requirement I had was do not logo the doors. I've had it logoed the last 2 or 3 builds. I've logoed the doors, so I just said have fun with it. And Chasten striped it different than any other time before. He outlined the fender wells, did some pinstriping on the bed, and lo and behold, if he didn't paint my wife's name on the passenger door. But with Chasten's help, and this is so funny about him and I will get to talking. I had this master plan in my mind about how I wanted my truck to look this time. We got to talking, and he said, how about this, how about that, this, that, and I said, you know what, Chasten, do what you want. And I walked away. I come back 4 hours later, and then my truck has my name and my wife's name on the side. Now, if that isn't 1970, I don't know what is. But let me show you something else I did to the truck different this time. With the election season just passing, I'm hardcore Ford and hardcore Harley and hardcore American, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I have never in my life had a headliner in this truck until this time. Check out the headliner. So what do you think about that? I did that, you know, with the election season. I think more and more about our, you know, about the country. I mean, I'm hardcore American, and I'm gonna tell you what, I haven't missed an election since I was 18. I pull the lever every time. It's time to go. I want my vote to count, and I earnestly believe that they do. So I put an American flag headliner in it, and I just think that's cool. And it got noticed. A guy stuck his head in my truck and said, when did you do that? Well, dude, I redid the whole, yeah, you redid the whole truck, you know. So it is what it is. You know what else it did? Me and my wife can actually have a conversation riding in the truck now. Put some insulation in there, quieten it down. I even had Chasten come in and pinstripe the inside door panels this time. But all in all, I just wanted to show that a little bit and give you guys an idea. I did gloss paint on the wheels this time, semi-gloss on the truck, some total different pinstriping, and I also went black pearl on the grill. I've never finished the grill in high gloss, and this time I used black pearl. So just a different effect. It's still the same old truck, just a slightly different look. Most people that take a look at it, they won't even know I redid it, but the hardcore followers I've got, they know I've refinished the truck.
We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close.
Of Mantinti.
To making history.
This close to changing the world.
We're this close.
This close. This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
ever again. This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio.
All we need is you.
This close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
Get Set Grow is excited to bring you this year's Turkey Day 5K 10K held at Academy Sports.
Presented by Active Pest Control and benefiting the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
And Prevent Child Abuse Henry County.
So work your turkey off on Thanksgiving morning at the Turkey 5K 10K.
We'll see you on Thanksgiving morning.
For more than 100 years, Woodward Academy has fostered excellence, character, and opportunity. From pre-K to 12th grade, Woodward offers a more complete approach to education. Woodward Academy, excellence, character, and opportunity. Visit us today.
With extended hours, let the UPS store pack and ship your gifts.
But today, I wanted to show you the 65 Stingray. You guys seen it last month. I was in the process of making some repairs. I had Richard down from Peach Auction Sales to help me evaluate the car and decide what to do. Now, my client came to me wanting me to restore that car. come to find out over the last couple of months, restoration is probably not the right thing to do. Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it was a heart attack, and it don't need to be painted.
Not painted?
Not painted.
Well, what if we painted it?
That would hurt it.
After almost 20 years of this car sitting in a garage, the client reached out to me, and at first she called me and she said, I've got a 65 Corvette that I bought brand new, and it's only got 32,000 miles on it. Now you hear about this all the time, barn finds, this, that, and the other. I was very skeptical. I didn't just run and jump to go see the car. I actually talked to her several different times over the course of about 2 weeks on the telephone, till finally she convinced me that she had a 65 Stingray in an air-conditioned garage in Buckhead, of all places. I went and seen the car. The car was covered in dirt and dust. It hadn't ran in about 20 years. It was quite a challenge to get it running. The fuel system was clogged up. The brake system was totally clogged up. I love to highly modify things. I think things should just be different than the way they were built. But the Corvette's a special car. The Corvette is what they call a survivor. That's the way it was built. That's the way it came down the assembly line. With the exception, I had to rebuild the carburetor. I had to change fuel lines. But when I did all this, I did it the way it was. I searched and found the correct parts to do this right, the correct rebuild kit for the carburetor. What happens with fluids is they get thicker over the years. Gasoline, of course, evaporates and it leaves behind a bad residue that the only way you can get it out is 9 times out of 10, vat it or replace it. This we was able to clean out and vat up. We had to replace all the fuel lines. I had to rebuild the carburetor. Now the brake system was totally different. There was no brake fluid in the car. Now the bad thing about brake fluid is when it's gone, the next thing that happens is rust. So the inside of all the brake system was rusted. So we had to go through all of that. Got it running, got it stopping. I actually took it for a drive. When the car came to us, it had been sitting a long time. It was gummed up from one end to the other. Rebuilt the carburetor, went through the fuel system, vatted the tank, went through the brakes. Believe it or not, the clutch was stuck, which is kind of threw me for a loop too. But I've got it running great and driving great. I've got the tires off. I've ordered a new set of tires. If you could do the research for me, we're going to partner up in getting this thing sold.
All right.
Do the research and advise me, should I paint the car? Should I not paint it? You know, what should I do? And what level should I take it to? The customer pretty much trusts us. She wants us to do what we need to do to make the car right. Talking to Richard and talking to the NRCS judge that came evaluated the car for me for originality, if I allow my customer to spend the money to restore the car, now her goal is to liquidate the car. She's ready to retire. If I take the money from her to restore the car and I sell the car at that point, it's worth a certain value. If I do not restore the car, it's worth a different value. Now, her best paycheck is for me not to restore that car. You know, I'd like to think of myself as a car expert, but man, I don't know everything. In my opinion, a smart man doesn't have to know everything. He just has to know where to find the answers for the questions he has. And on this car, I didn't have all the answers. Granted, I can fix everything and I can get it running, but the question in fact was this. The lady that owns the car called me and says, I want you to restore my 65 Mustang, and then I want you to help me sell it for me. I want you to help me liquidate the car. I got the car here and I got to studying the car and I realized that this is a special car. I reached out to my friends at Peach Auction. I called Richard up and I said, Richard, I've got this car, man. She wants me to restore it, but my gut tells me I shouldn't restore the car. They came up, you guys seen them last month, they came up, they evaluated the car, they've done a bunch of research. And you know what they told me? They told me this, not painted?
Not painted.
Well, what if we painted it?
That would hurt it.
In other words, this car's never been painted. This is the way it was. Yeah, it's got a few nicks and dings on it, but this car is wearing its original paint. Now, her best paycheck is for me not to restore that car. In other words, she can pay me a pile of money to restore it, but in the end, her payday is best if that car is left original. And it is more desirable that way. After talking to Richard, after talking to the NRCS judge that came and rated the car the other day, he spent about 4 hours going over every aspect. Man, he took mirrors and looked for ID numbers in the weirdest places. Underneath the windshield wiper, there's an ID number that he looked up in a book and said, this is the windshield wiper that came with this car. He looked at all of the numbers on the windows. This is the day this window was manufactured. This is the day your car left the assembly line. All the way down to the horn on the car has a date code on it. They told me they think that someone in the collector world, especially a Corvette collector, would love to have this car the way it is, unrestored. They advised me on a few things to fix, a few things that was problems, and go from there. Let me tell you, I went a step farther. I reached out to the Corvette Association. Now they have a group of guys that will come rate your car. They will study every square inch of this car. They'll tell me everything that's original, everything that's been replaced. He came and went yesterday, and when he got done after about a 4-hour inspection of this car, he advised me that this car is almost 95% original. That's just amazing, to be almost 50 years old and that car never be monkeyed with. Of course, it's only got 32,000 miles. So what do you expect? And the end result is this is a pure and original car, with the exception of like the tires I had to put on it. I did rebuild the carburetor. I did go through a cleaning. I did go through a detail. I had to put a fuel pump on it, different things like that. His advice is just like Richard's. Leave the car alone. It is a survivor car, and it should be maintained this way. Now that's not to say someone can't have the car and restore it. It would be an easy restoration. But his opinion is just like Richard's. The car needs to be the way it's supposed to be. Guess what? They're only original once. This is a true American classic that's original now, just like the day it rolled off the assembly line. With the exception, it's got some age on it. All in all, it's a cool car. Wouldn't you agree? I tell you what, I think I'm going to fire this bad boy up, and we're going to go down the highway. I think you're going to be surprised at how good and quiet this car is. Not to mention that it's not the low horsepower car. This is actually the high horsepower engine. This is the 4-speed car. This is the power delete car. This is the car that Chevrolet intended to sell you to take to the drag strip. Yeah, all in all, it's just sweet. I tell you what, I'm going to fire it up, we'll get the gate open, and we'll go for a ride.
Did you know that in 2002 I perfected the Gordo's cheese dip recipe? And then we offered it to the good people of Stockbridge in 2003. That creamy, smooth, and luscious cheese flavor made with real cheese and wholesome ingredients has become a favorite. And now we're sharing it with folks across the country. And there's so many different ways Gordo's can add a flavorful twist to most any meal, like Philly steak and cheese, the easy cheesy biscuits, Gordo's burrito, and of course our delicious stovetop mac and cheese, and so much more. But do you know the real reason why Gordo's cheese dip is so popular?
Because it tastes good?
Because it tastes good.
It's the place where the convenience is only surpassed by the comfort.
It's a place for a little paint therapy. with a few of your closest friends.
It's networking while touring a refurbished jailhouse and maybe having a little fun in the process.
It's a reunion of old friends in an even older home.
Or the start of a union to last a lifetime.
It's the place you shot your best game ever and closed your biggest deal.
It's Henry County, comfortably south of Atlanta.
Moy's Health Mart Pharmacy has been an important part of our community for over 30 years. Why not bring your prescriptions to a locally owned and operated pharmacy where we take pride in providing true customer service? Our pharmacists provide a unique combination of clinical expertise and personal attention. With 6 locations in Henry County, there has to be a Moy's Pharmacy near you.
Those great Bavarian nuts you've always loved are now available at all Moy's Pharmacy locations and drive-through windows. Come get yours today.
Moy's Health Mart Pharmacy, caring for you and about you.
Every girl crazy about a sharp ass man.
This car is just smooth as silk. But you know, with only 32,000 miles, what do you expect? It's still virtually a new car. I feel so fortunate sometimes. Some of the cars we get to work on, you know, I know for a fact other shops would just love to have half the cars we've got in our shop, let alone to end up with something like this in the shop. A prized possession that was bought brand new and kept all these years. You know, this car is almost 50 years old. It's a 4-speed car, and there I am reaching for 5th gear. But just like back in the day. You know, when I was young, growing up in the Panhandle of Florida, before I was old enough to even have a car, I drew a lot. I drew a lot of pictures of cars, and this is one of the cars that I would draw. The mid-year Corvettes. I love this body style. It has its own flavor, you know, its own style. Nowadays, everything just looks the same. You know, you see one car, you're hard-pressed to tell if it's a Toyota or a Ford. But back in the 60s, man, you seen a Chevrolet or a Ford, you knew they was different cars. Now that's an awesome car. I'm telling you, it drives like a brand new car.
I know, she's gonna be so happy.
I think when we're gonna go see her in a couple of days. I think we're gonna drive that car up to her.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna be shocked.
Sounds good.